Today, Wednesday, the 19th of February 2025, we have some handpicked match predictions to share with you, which of course will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to even more games, as well as match prediction strategies, which we have shared to members only, then of course you want to make sure that you subscribe to the Level 2 Pro package plan membership, as well as Level 3 membership package plan to have access to these features to start taking your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. So before we proceed to our today's event, we want to say congratulations based on yesterday's event for we all registered wins. So I will share with you all the results in terms of yesterday's game before proceeding to event of today. So let's proceed.
So looking at yesterday's event, games in terms of goals probability were successful. In terms of 1.5 and 2.5 goals match picks were all successful. While some of the events in terms of corner kicks did not go as planned, I will share with you all the successful events in terms of goals probability as well as games for corner kicks which we shared. Looking at the first event, we looked at Asia in the AFC Champions League, where we looked at Kawasaki Frontale against Central Coast Marina. And we stated that the home is going to win. We also stated that there will be the possibility of at least 1.5 goals in full time. Both cases were true. It ended as 2-0, with the home leading as well as 1.5 goals in full time. Successful and congratulations. In the next, we looked at championship in the playoff, AC Milan against Feyenoord, and we said that AC Milan will not let this game to be won by Feyenoord. Either we give AC Milan a win or a double chance, as well as at least 1.5 goals. You can see AC Milan ending up having a double chance and 1.5 goals as well, ended making it also successful. In the next, we look at National League North of England, firstly against Southport, and we state that Southport will lead this match in full time. We also state that there will be the possibility of at least 1.5 goal in full time. All the cases were true. It ended as 2-0 Southport lead, and there were the possibility also of at least 1.5 goal in full time. Successful as well. In the next, we looked at Bayern Munich against Celtic. We also look at least 1.5 goal in full time. Successful and congratulations. And also for this event, Bayern Munich and Celtic, we also pinpoint out corner kicks, 6.5, 7.5 corner kicks, and even 8 corners. Looking at the level of corner kicks, for 6.5 corners, it was successful just by Munich, ending up having a total of 7 corner kicks in full time alone. So to those that went for 6.5 corners, it was successful. But for 7.5, we had shortage of corner kick. So 6.5 corners were successful. And goals probability also was good. Looking at the next, we looked at Benfica against Monaco, still in the Champions League. And for goals probability, we state that there will be the possibility of at least 1.5 goals or 2 goals over. It ended as 3-3. A total of 6 goals were scored, making it also successful. But for corner kicks, we looked at least 6.5 or 7 corners. Here it ended as 5 corners kick. We had a shortage of corners, and this was the only unsuccessful event in terms of the corner kick, which had shortage. Therefore, out of these events, we share with you a total of 5. In terms of all goals probability pick, all the events were successful for goals probability. And in terms of corner kicks, we had 2 corner kick events we shared. One was successful and one was unsuccessful. So making this slip to be a successful event. So most of us registered wins. Congratulations. And let's proceed to the event of today.
Now let's look at the event of today. But before we proceed to today's game, I have a quick announcement to make. If you come here to the front page of our channel here, titled as the home, you're going to notice that we provide match predictions to members only. Therefore, if you want to have access to these features, then you want to make sure to also become a member of either the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master plan to have access to all our game match prediction picks to take your winning to the next height. Also, if you become a member, you're also going to have access to our top-notch bet class tutorials to start taking your winning to the next height. For example, if you're a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, you're going to have access to the Level 2 Pro classes that will give you top-notch tutorial like the live match corner kick strategy, step by step, and also the bet win strategy for you, which you can use at your advantage. You also have access to the never seen match prediction strategy, which we have explained step by step, followed by the straight win and comeback strategy for you to use that will amaze you. You also have access to the tactical straight win and over 2.5 goal strategy you have not seen before, followed by the 99% win rate strategy for you to take your winning to the next height. If you are a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, you have access to all these Level 2 Pro bet class tutorials, which of course we are going to put the link below this video so that you can access all of these particular video tutorial in one place once you become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan. Also, if you become member of the Level 3 Master Plan, you have access to the Level 3 Master Classes, which will give you access to even more top-notch tutorials like the top secret AI tool we use to find games in terms of straight wins and goals, match prediction probability. You also have access to the top secret AI, that is top secret website, which we use to find games in terms of corner kicks. We have titled it as Game Changer Corner Kick Match Prediction Strategy You Have Never Seen. You also have access to 6 amazing AI tools that we use, followed by the home and away win match prediction strategy step by step. And finally, you have access to the 2.5 goal strategy to beat the bookies and win even more. So if you are a member of any of these plans, you're going to have access to the various tutorials we have just mentioned. Also, if you come directly to the front page here of our channel and come to this area here that says video and click on it, you're going to also see that we provide top-notch tutorials, which of course you can access it for free. For example, we have a video tutorial we just published a few weeks ago. As you can see, the top 5 soccer prediction apps compared. We have listed some of the features of some of the apps which you can take advantage of it and start to put it to use. This is the particular tutorial here, which you can come here, navigate, and find this video to watch. Also, we have another one which we have already shared some few weeks ago, which we have labeled it as the expert tips to make wins, which of course expert tip winning strategy being exposed. We released this 1 month ago. Of course, you can take advantage of this tutorial and also start to put it to use. And finally, we have another recommended tutorial, which we have titled it as the 5 hidden Sofascore feature to win even more. Here we have explained the 5 features of Sofascore you never knew before, which you can also access this tutorial for free, watch it to the end, and use some of the features we have explained and put it to use for your own advantage. And that being said, let's now proceed to the first event on our today's pick. Looking at the first match prediction pick, we look at Asia in the AFC Champions League 2, a match between Sanfrecce Hiroshima against Nam Dinh. For this particular event, it is the second leg, and of course in the first leg, the home team lead the away 3-0. They are coming again to meet in the second leg, and this time the home still have a very good form. Looking at its performance in terms of the recent game they have had, they have scored high capacity of goal, especially in the Japan J1 League, where they scored 5 goals against its opponent. Also in the CL2, they had recent game against Eastern AA 4-1. Their performance recently have been amazing, but comparing to that of Nam Dinh, on the other hand, they are from the Vietnam, which of course they are not. The performance recently is not good. And also looking at the recent game they had against Bangkok, their performance showed that they scored 2-3, having a loss. And looking at the recent performance they have had also in the VL League, they performed to score. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, of course, the performance of the home in the first leg resulted to 3-0. This time, they still have a good form with a high probability of goal scoring capacity to prove that the form in the recent stance or recent game they have had, they have a good stand. And looking at that of its opponent, they also have a good striking power, but of course, the home still have a better form as compared to the away. So look at the possibility of the home to either lead in full time as one of the major picks. But of course, goals probability is the next option since both of the two sides prove to have a high strike power. Therefore, want to look also at goals probability. That is 1.5 going full time as the next pick, as well as 2 goals over. So we have 3 major picks here. 1, the home to lead. 2, at least 1.5 going full time. And 3, the possibility of 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we looked at Armenia in the Armenia Cup. This is a cup, a match between Noir against Alashkert. Looking at the performance of Noir recently in the game they have had, especially with strong teams like West Armenia and also in the CR, which is of course in the Conference League against Apiol. They scored at least a goal, and also against Gandaza, where the performance have proved to be very amazing in the Premier League of Armenia itself. Its opponent, Alashkert, on the other hand, also proved that they score at least between 1 to 2 goals, but they have mostly had events recently in the club friendly, and of course, their performance have not been amazing. But in the Premier League itself of Armenia, the performance rating in terms of the defensive line is very weak. And of course, looking at these performances in terms of the home game played in the PL and CL, comparing to that of Alashkert, on the other hand, we want to look at two major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home team have proved to be more offensive in terms of recent events they have had. And they have mostly had games in the Armenia Premier League itself and also in the CL, which they have performed greatly in terms of form. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, have had events which performance have showed that in the Premier League they are not very great in terms of the defensive strength. As a result, of course, we want to look at the home Noir to take advantage of that weak defensive line of its opponent to either lead in full time as one of the major pick. Also, since the performance of the home have proved to score sometimes even 7 goals in each event, in some cases, we also want to look at the probability of goals. So we want to look also at 1.5 goal or 2 goals over, since the defensive line of its opponent concede more, especially in the PL of Armenia itself, that is the Premier League of Armenia. Therefore, since the defensive strength of its opponent is not very tightened, we also look at the possibility of goals. So we have 3 major picks here. 1, the home to lead. 2, 1.5 goal in full time. 3, 2.5 goals in full time. These are our major picks for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at world-friendly international women, a match between Mexico women against Chinese Taipei women. In this event, the home Mexico women have proved to be very great in terms of recent games they have had, especially in the FI. That is in the friendly international women, where they score 4-4-3 goals. The offensive strength recently have been very amazing. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, is very conceding with a very weak defensive lineup, and the defense is not strengthened. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For these particular events, the defensive line of the away is very weak. And since the home have proved to have more offense in terms of recent events they have had, especially scoring between 1, 2, and even 3 goals in each event based on the recent performances, the away, on the other hand, is not great at defensive line. Therefore, look at the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to lead in full time as one of the major picks. And we also want to look at the probability of goals. Since the away concede between 3 to 6 goals in each event recently, we also look at the probability of at least 1.5 goal in full time with 2 goals over. These are our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at Asia in the Gulf Champions League, a match between Anas against Alin Sana. For this event, Anas, in terms of the recent event they have had in the LEA, that is the UEFA, that is UAE League of United Arab Emirates, they have proved to score goals 2, 5, 3, and 5. They have proved to score high amount of goals comparing to that of its opponent, on the other hand, which defense or offense is not very strengthened, and have mostly had games in the lower league like GCC, which is a very low league, that is in the Gulf Club of Asia, and also in the division, that is Division 1. And you can see that the performances have not been very great in the Division 1, as you can see. And looking at the stands in terms of recent events they have had by comparison of form, home and away, the home team, Anas, of course, in terms of the recent game they have had, just recently they have had 2 games played with 2 wins, scoring 7 goals and conceding 3. The offense is good with a good defense. But that of the opponent, on the other hand, have just had also 2 games played. They have already considered just 2 goals scored. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the home have proved to be more offensive. And looking at the recent performances they have had, the performances rate in terms of the recent event is more better as compared to that of its opponent. And also looking at this particular stance, they have recently had some few games, and the home, in terms of the home offense and defense, have proved to be greater. But that of its opponent, the away team, have proved that they concede 2 goals in just 2 events with offense, which is not great. So look at the probability of the home team with its high offense to take advantage of the fact that they have a better offense to lead in full time as one of the major pick, and also looking at least 1.5 goals in full time. So look at 2 major pick. 1, the home to lead. 2, at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match. In the next, we looked at Belgium in the first national women, a match between Femina Woluwe playing against Alken. For this event, the performance of the home have proved to be very offensive in terms of recent event they have had, scoring 2-3 goals and 2 in each event to perform, that is to prove that the offensive line is very great. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, do not have a very great defense, conceding 13 goals against Michelin to prove that the defensive line is not good, but that they also try to score at least 2 goals and 1 goal in some cases, but the defensive line is very weak. They concede too much. And looking at the stand performance in terms of recent event they have had by the form of the home and away, of course, the performance of the home in terms of the form of home have proved that they stand a better chance. Sitting on the 6th place, they have had 11 goals scored in 5 events, conceding 8. That's good offense with a defense that is not very tightened. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, in terms of the events they have had recently, have proved that the defensive line is very weak, conceding up to 24 goals in just 5 games played with 6 scored goals. This proves that the defensive line is very weak. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home recently have proved to be amazing. And the fact that it have a better offense as compared to that of the away team, of course, we want to look at the fact that the home will take advantage of the weak defense of the away to lead in full time as one of the major pick. Also, recently, the away have conceded too much number of goals, and looking at the fact that the conceding power of the away is very high, with the weak defense, we want to look also at goals probability. That is, we look at 1, the home team to win, 2, at least 1.5 goal in full time, 3, the possibility of 2 goals over. These are our major pick for this particular event. Looking at the next, we looked at Europe in the Champions League, PSG against Brest. This is the second leg, and in the first leg, PSG lead by 3 against 0. This time, of course, PSG, the home, still have a very great form, especially in the Ligue 1, where they had game against Monaco, Reims, and also in the Champions League itself, where they had a game against Man City and had a lead 4 against 2. Its opponent, on the other hand, Brest, in the Ligue 1, have proved that they try to score at least between 2 goals as well, but of course, in the CR, which is, of course, in the Champions League against Shakhtar Donetsk, they had a loss. But, of course, PSG is a more better team as compared to Shakhtar Donetsk. If Brest could have a loss 2-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk and PSG have a better form as compared to Shakhtar, then there's still a possibility of PSG to beat Brest in full time. And looking at everything in place, looking at the fact that they recently have head-to-head, where, of course, in the Ligue 1 itself, PSG play at home and beat Brest 3 against 1. PSG still have a good form and want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, of course, PSG sits in a better form to take Brest in full time, having the lead. The fact that in the Ligue 1 of France, PSG have proved it when it played at home recently, hitting Brest 3 against 1. This time they still have a good form. And in the first head-to-head, that is in the first leg of the Champions League, PSG against Brest, PSG still lead 3 against 0. This time they still have a better form. And the fact that they are still coming home with this great offense, and Brest, the offense of Brest in terms of the defense is not very great. And of course, PSG still maintain this good form. We still look at PSG to lead. So look at PSG to lead as one of the major pick here, as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goals in full time or 2 goals over. Because the first head-to-head, of course, resulted PSG leading by 3 against 0. And in the League 1, PSG lead 3 against 1. This time the form is still very good. So still look at it to maintain that great form to take on Brest in the full time as a lead to win, as well as the possibility of 1.5 goals or 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we looked still in the Champions League, but this time Real Madrid against Man City. In the first leg, it resulted to 3 against 2, a total of 5 goals. This time they're coming again to meet. And of course, Real Madrid, which is coming home this time, have proved that in the La Liga, they scored 1 against Atletico de Madrid. Also against Salzburg in the Champions League, 5 against 1. Las Palmas in the La Liga, 4 against 1. The performance recently have proved to be good. That of Man City also, on the other hand, have proved that in the Premier League, of course, they had a great loss against Arsenal, and in the Champions League, they lost against PSG as well. The defensive line of Man City recently is not very great, since they have also a game just in the FAC and also conceded a goal. The defense also proved here that the defensive line of Man City is not very great. And looking at this, looking at the fact that the defensive line of Man City is not very tightened recently, which they tried also to score goals in recent games they have had, and also as compared to Real Madrid, where the offense is very good, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, the first head resulted to 3 against 2, a total of 5 goals. Real Madrid recently still have a good form in terms of recent event they have had with a high striking power. But its opponent, Man City, on the other hand, proved that the defensive line is not very great, And of course, they concede much goals in terms of recent event they have had. But the recent performances they have had in terms of game they have played recently prove that they score at least between 1 to 2 goals in each event. This time, they want to impress since in the first leg, they registered a loss against Real Madrid. They want to improve. As a result, this improve between the two, especially the home also want to cause more shots on and off target. The way also wanting to improve will increase its number of shots on and off target. Since both sides want to impress in this particular gameplay tournament, both of the sides will cause high increase rate in terms of shoot on target and shoot off target, resulting to strike on the goal mark, resulting to goals probability. So we want to look at least 1.5 goal in full time as well as the major pick, as well as 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. Therefore, look at two major pick, 1.5 goal in full time, 2.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to our handpick event, which we have shared to members only, especially game predictions for corner kicks, as well as goals probability. Also for this upcoming weekend, which we are preparing a long list with each odd, then you want to make sure to subscribe to the membership package plan, either level 2 pro plan or the level 3 master plan, to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. Also, you are going to have access to our top-notch bet class tutorials to take your winning to the next level. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video. You want to navigate to that link, click on it, and subscribe as a member of either level 2 pro plan or the level 3 master plan to start to have access to these features. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye bye for now.